I'm Pretorius, a counselling psychologist at Thuso. Talking about suicide is not an easy task. Most of us has been affected on some level with suicide, either having gone through that ourselves, thinking about suicide and contemplating suicide, or losing a loved one due to suicide. There's a lot of stigma regarding suicide, and when we hear the word, all of us experience a certain amount of emotions, and usually it's not positive emotions, it's negative emotions, sadness, loss, worry, anxiety. But I think it's so important that we do take the time to talk about this. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you can learn something about yourself or about someone that you lost with regards to suicide. It's definitely not talked about enough. I hope that we can let go of the stigma and secrecy regarding suicide and talk about it openly so that people will reach out for help more often and know that they don't have to go through that alone. So what is the symptoms that one would experience? There's a whole lot of different symptoms that one would experience with regards to suicide. If it gets to the point of a person wanting to or thinking about ending their own life, it means that they have gone through a whole lot of different options, and at that point they feel as if that is the only way out for them. So probably or possibly a person could have experienced hopelessness, helplessness, loneliness, as if no one understands. Maybe they even tend to isolate themselves. Maybe activities that they once used to enjoy they don't do anymore because they don't enjoy it, or they just keep to themselves. Maybe they have made some behavioral changes with regards to giving away possessions or starting to make preparations for the end. For example, terminating studies or ending certain subjects, starting to packing up your possessions, or anything in that regard. Some people always also mention or give clues that they think about ending their own life. For example, saying things like, I don't want to be here anymore, no one would miss me if I'm gone, or everything just feels too much for me. Saying things like that doesn't necessarily mean that a person do want to commit suicide, but it can be an indication. And it's necessary for you, if you hear a friend saying things like that, to take it seriously and to try to assist that person as best as possible. If a person had previous suicide attempts, that could also make them more vulnerable to having another suicide attempt if they do feel very low and very sad. It can be that they struggle to think clearly or make plans, and maybe they don't look forward to the future, as if they have lost hope with regards to future and their own future. So what can you do? Either if the symptoms that I spoke about is you, or you know that it's a friend going through some of these things, how can you help them, or how can you even help yourself? There's a few techniques that you can try. For example, the GLAD technique. This is to help you or your loved one to find meaning when it feels as if there is none. For each of the letters listed below, write down one moment or occurrence that day that corresponds with the instruction. Do this for a specific day or week. So for example, if you were to write GLAD down, G-L-A-D, G would stand for grateful. What is it that you are grateful for that day? Even if it's just something small, for example, sunshine, or just being alive, or having reached out to a friend when you felt as if you didn't really want to. What did you learn throughout that day? Even if it was the smallest, slightest thing, such as something you learned in class, or something you learned about yourself, or even just a small new skill. What have you achieved throughout that day? Such as washing the dishes, went to your 8 a.m. class, or finished an assignment, things that you really don't feel like doing, but that you did manage to do. For example, taking out the trash or anything that you need to get done, but when you feel this low, you don't want to do it at all. So what is it that you achieved? Then D stands for delight, such as a coffee with a friend or a funny movie. What was it throughout that day, or that small moment that made you feel just a bit lighter and a bit more happy? Other things that you can also try is to reach out to social support. Know that you may not feel as if you would want to, but do it anyway. Try to phone a friend or reach out to someone that's close to you. Journaling, so write down your feelings just to get it off of your chest and not keep it all inside. Engagement in activities that add meaning to life, for example, contributing to a bigger cause, assisting the DBFear with animals, or contributing to people that may have less than you do. Exercise and a healthy diet. This is also a very, very good skill to incorporate just to make you feel a bit better. If you're not big on exercise, walking around the block is also perfectly fine as long as you do something just to get your heart rate going. And then, very important, as I hope this video does, is to debunk the stigmas by reading about suicide, watching videos, reading up about suicide, and know that you or your loved one is not alone. Most important that I do want to tell you guys, please reach out. If this is some of the things that you have experienced or the thoughts that you have had, please reach out. Reach out to a friend, reach out to a family member, but please reach out to us as well, psychologists or trained mental health professionals that can assist you through this very, very challenging time. If it is a friend or someone that you know that has been going through this, and you feel as if you don't know what to do, there's a few other options as well. You can contact the police. They are trained in dealing with situations like that. You can call emergency personnel, for example, an ambulance service or someone like that. You can either take that person or take yourself to casualties at your nearest hospital. They are also trained in dealing with situations like that, as long as you reach out. That is the most important thing. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that it was valuable to you. Thank you.